What up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm J, and we are locked in. This is episode 2 with them. Now, people were saying after that first episode, man, some people are scared to watch it. Some people are like, man, I don't know what's going on. But what I'm going to say is the storyline is good. There's action in it. I'm sticking with it. I'm effing with the show. But before we get into episode 2, we got to do the YouTube stuff. Shout out to the notification gang. If you're new to the channel and want to be a part of this, hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Hit that like button. We're on that road to 5,000 subscribers. But episode 2 is even better than the first one. This show is very good. I'm hoping that they get extended for a season 2. I don't know how the storyline will go, but as of right now, I'm expecting a season 2. So let's jump into this. This is episode 2 with them on Amazon Prime Video. Now, if you remember, after episode 1, at the end, Lucky came outside with that pistol, yelling and telling everybody, stay away from the house. Everybody's looking out the window. Betty's doing all that tough talking, but she ain't saying nothing when she see that gun drawn. She ain't saying nothing. And then we see Sergeant down here with the head turned backwards. Whew. It was a lot going on at the end of that first episode. Just so people can keep track of the show, I will alert you when there's a flashback or when it's current time. Current time is 1953 in Los Angeles. Flashbacks are 1946 in North Carolina, where the family is from. This is a flashback, people. Attention, flashback 1946. Now, the first thing we see is Henry laying on the floor. Now, Lucky goes in there and she's waking him up. She's trying to let him know, hey, there's food on the table. You need to come eat. And for him, you could tell he's been passed out because he's like, what time is it? Is it morning time? She's like, nah, it's just after 7. Now they get to the table and you can tell that something's bothering Henry. He's sitting there and he's just thinking and thinking. It looks like something of if you had a migraine or something, but you can tell a lot of things are going on in his head because he's kind of tuning out everything that Ruby is saying and everything that his wife Lucky is saying. He's just sitting there. Now, Lucky done worked her butt off in that kitchen. She done made dinner. She done made a peach cobbler. And you hear her tell Ruby, make sure your dad gets a plate first. Now, she hands one to him, and he's sitting there, and he's getting real angry. You see, he got his fist balled up, and out of nowhere, he just starts flipping out. I'm talking about, oh, my goodness. Hey, Henry, you got to calm down, brother. We got a kid in here, and it's just Lucky, so you know they were scared. He picked the plate up with the peach cobbler on it, threw it against the wall. They like, oh, Ruby, go to your room. Henry goes outside to pretty much get fresh air because he knows he overreacted, but it was something in his mind that triggered him for that Black History moment. While he's outside, he's telling Lucky why he didn't eat the peach cobbler because the peach cobbler is very sweet. Now, black soldiers weren't quote unquote military ready or battle ready, so they performed experiments on them. Of course, we all know about the big Tuskegee Airmen, the little test that they did down there where they, pretty much gave us diseases and things. Now, what they did to him is they put him in different types of gas, tear gas, mustard gas. But mustard gas is very, very sweet. So for him, he had flashbacks. I have a bioenvironmental background. When I was in the military, I did the gas mask fit test, and I know what mustard gas tastes like. And trust me, you don't want it in your face, nothing. But for him, he's like, I don't want anything that's sweet because it brings back, and that triggers his PTSD from being in the military and having those experiments. So the biggest thing that really hurt Henry about this is his daughter made him a pie and he couldn't even eat it just because of his PTSD and knowing how that mustard gas tastes. Now he asked Lucky if she gonna tell her that, and Lucky, being a good woman, a good strong black woman holding down her man even when he's at one of his lowest points, says, nah, we'll tell him together. That's how you do it. We need more strong black couples like this. Later on that night, they're laying down. I'm downstairs on the couch asleep. I don't know what's going on, but Henry and they're listening. What is that noise? So they get up and everybody starts looking around the house, him and Lucky, and then he gets downstairs and he's like, where's that noise coming from? Now, mind you, they're in North Carolina in 1946. It's dark as hell. Y'all seen the first episode, the opening scene. It's just a random white lady out there with some dudes. So you out in these woods, you got to be prepared for anything. Whew. Henry goes outside, and fortunately, all it is a little dog out here. And who is this dog? This dog is named Sergeant. We're going to name him Sergeant. Yes, sir. Unfortunately, Sergeant dies in episode 1, but 1946 is when they got Sergeant. So they had Sergeant for about 7 years. Alert, current day. We back in LA. Now, the police then showed up. They got guns drawn. They got their little revolvers, their little 6-shooters, because they heard there was a Negra outside with a pistol screaming. So you know these white cops, they ain't playing around with that. They at the door pounding and pounding and pounding like, boy, you better open this door up. Because you know what they really want to do. They want to just pop, pop, pop. Lucky is about to get Henry in a lot of trouble out here. Just a reminder, people, this is day 3. Day 3. Now the police pounding at the door. Little Gracie's in here yelling like, "Daddy!" And they like, "Gracie, shut up. We don't want them to know we in here so we can have some time." Because now Henry has to go pick the gun up off the coffee table, run it into the room, put it in the lockbox, because he knows these cops aren't going to stop until they get inside of this house, and that gun better be up. Hopefully, man, he should have unloaded it. He just threw the thing in the box. Henry, being the strong black man that he is, he has to go back in the living room, and now he got to make sure that his wife is good, because she wilding out, putting the whole family in danger, and now she ain't got nothing to say on the couch. She's sitting there, and he's like, breathe, baby. So he has to calm down all 3 of his girls. Luckily for him, Ruby, the older daughter, she's cool, she's chilling. Gracie, that little maniac right there, we're going to have to watch her. In typical white cop fashion, they kick in the door once he opens it up. Put him against the wall, gun next to his head, gun pointed at the wife and kids, and they asking him, why did it take you so long to open up? He's like, we scared. And then the white cop had to make a smart comment. You know who's scared? Your neighbors are scared. Why does she have a gun? And he's like, man, I put the gun up. The other cop, he goes over and he picks up a picture of Lucky and their son Chester and holds it up to the family like, and which one of these is you? And then Gracie's like, put my brother down. And she starts screaming. I'm telling you, Gracie, that's a little maniac. That's the little crazy one right there. She's on the good people's side, but she is a wild one, I tell you. And she does not give no F's. We get introduced to a new character, Sergeant Wheatley, the sergeant on duty. Now, he pulls up to the block. You have Betty and all her people out here. Now, we know Betty wants to be the leader of the neighborhood watch. She goes over to the sergeant. Hey, Sergeant, my name is Betty, and I'm the one that called. And, you know, the cops is pretty much like, okay, thank you. Get out the street. We got business to do over here. Now, Betty's trying to make a big deal about this because she wants Henry and his family up out of here. And she's like, she threatened us. And Sergeant Wheatley breaks it down for her like, look, the thing about a threat is once the gun is up, there's no longer a threat. And if they don't do anything, then it's not a crime. So back on up. We got business to handle over here. I told you this. So it seems like we got at least one good white guy out here. Now, Sergeant Wheatley comes in. He getting, hey, what are y'all doing? Get your hands off of him and put those damn guns up. There's kids in here and his wife. And then Henry explains to him somebody was in our house. And then he takes him in the basement. He shows him Sergeant, R.I.P. But Sergeant Wheatley's like, I don't know. It looks like one of your windows is broke, but I'm not sure if anybody could crawl through here. You might want to just get this checked out. Maybe it's an animal or something. But other than that, I don't see anything else that's wrong or what could have happened to your dog. Sorry about it. Now, we know what we seen in episode 1. There was somebody at that table with that dog collar. So Sergeant Wheatley wants to know, does your wife get the morning newspaper with a loaded firearm every morning? Henry couldn't answer anything. Now, back upstairs, Gracie's like, are you guys going to get the lady that killed my dog? So Gracie seen the lady and she got choked. And now the cops are like, there was somebody else in here. Why didn't you say this? Now Lucky's trying to say, oh yes, there was a lady. She may have broke in. She grabbed my daughter's neck. But when they look over there, there's nothing on the kid's neck. It's gone. And Gracie's like, no, Miss Vera, she did it. And now the cops, they're looking at the family like, y'all a little weird. And it doesn't make it any better because they're black. So they're probably thinking black people, they really are weird. We don't just make that up. But we know what we've seen in episode 1. The last thing the sergeant got to say before he gets out of there, hey, Henry, make sure don't none of this dumb stuff happen anymore. None of these hijinks that you guys pull. We're trying to keep an organized neighborhood because East Compton is not that type of neighborhood. Now, I can only imagine what's going through Henry's head, because if you look at Henry, he's in the backyard digging a hole to bury Sergeant in. Now, he has on slacks. He has on a good white shirt that he was probably going to wear to work that day. But now he's burying a dog, dirty as hell. You know it's hot. And Lucky comes out and he's telling her, listen, tell our daughter to stop talking like that and telling white people that she's seeing some imaginary person, because it's going to make her look bad. Just like I was saying, the cops are probably thinking, yeah, black people really are weird. So Henry doesn't understand that they may have actually seen something and there was a scar on the neck. All he's saying is, look, I'm here. I have a job. I'm trying to keep this house that we bought. I'm trying to give us a better life. So this is where they're going to collide, because if you haven't seen this paranormal activity, all you can do is say, man, y'all tripping. Let's just chill out. I still got to go to work. I'm going to be late anyway. Henry had to drive his daughter to school because she may have missed the bus. Now, when he gets there, he tells her, just like Calvin told him when he went to his first day at work, go in there and show him how we do. But before Ruby gets out, she's like, what about mom? She's going crazy. And he's like, hey, don't talk about your mom like that. She's just going through some things. But Ruby, she's seeing it and she's like, man, mom really is tripping. She's out here wilding out, dad. She talking to the cops like that. And he's just trying to keep her calm. Like, hey, just go to school. I'll worry about your mom. Lucky takes Gracie and they're like, we're going to go downstairs. We're going to fix the window while dad is gone. They get downstairs and she tells Gracie, hey, stay right here. Don't go anywhere. You know how that always turns out. Of course, Gracie walked off. You in this basement, you know you're supposed to have her hand at all times. When Lucky turns around, Gracie's over here in the corner and she's like, Mom, she says it wasn't the window. And Lucky says, who said that? And then she points. Here we go again. Lucky walks over there and Miss Vera's, she's really there. And she comes up on Lucky, she gets in her face, and then she touches her face. And you know she's probably heart beating, probably lost breath, like, oh Lord, what the hell is this? She grabs Gracie, they run upstairs, and they in the kitchen, and she tells Gracie, you gotta promise me that you won't tell your dad nothing about this. Gracie says, did you see her, Mom? And Lucky's like, nah, I ain't see her, but I felt her. So just promise me you don't tell your dad, because he worked hard to get this house. I know she's scared as hell. At that moment, I would have called Henry. I don't know how I get in touch with him. Don't know his work number, no nothing. We gotta move. We got to move. Oh, Betty. She's over here stirring up the pot again. She goes across the street to Midge's house and she sees like, damn, it's a new car out there. What's that? The 54 Cadillac? Okay, what is this? She goes in there and Midge is in here talking about she's on some diet where you got to eat 8 eggs. 8 eggs. Am I saying that right? 8 eggs. 8 eggs a day to lose weight. And Betty's like, I'm not trying to hear that. That lady had a gun. And Midge tells her straight up, like, well, we're actually about to move out the neighborhood. My husband got a promotion. We're about to head up out of here. So Betty's looking like, wait, y'all ain't tell us nothing like this? And it's like, it's not our job to tell you when we get a promotion, but we're getting up out the neighborhood. It's turning a little too black, Betty. I'm getting up out of here. Black history lesson. No Negroes, says Chicago neighborhood. Now this article is saying this is what Betty wants to do in their neighborhood. But if you let black folk get comfortable in their neighborhood, they'll make phone calls and more blacks will start moving in, and eventually the whole street will be black. So she's trying to tell Midge to tell her husband to read this at the homeowners association meeting, pretty much to try to get rid of the Emery family. They're trying to use the same tactics that they use in Chicago, which they use in a lot of American cities to try to keep blacks and prevent them from moving into the good neighborhoods. Now, Henry's at work and he's just sitting there zoned out like, golly, what the hell? It's only 3 days here and I got all this going on. Police at the door. I got to go to work. Wife tripping, kids wilding out, dog dead. But the guy across from Gary, he's like, look, man, you better act like you working, man. At least push your pencil. And he shows him, I'm doing a crossword. Then all of a sudden, the boss, doom, doom, doom. Hey, you black fella, come on in here. Oh man, whenever that boss calls you in, even if you ain't did nothing, the boss calling you in their office, I always assume, well, Mo about to get rolled up for something. What the hell have I done? Mr. Burks calls him in the office and he's talking to Henry. He's pretty much letting him know, like, I have love for all people. I don't really discriminate against each other, but as you can see, we don't have too many blacks in here. And Henry, he does this. And he looks around like, oh, I didn't notice. And this opens up Mr. Burks and he starts laughing like, oh, okay, you got jokes. But he starts talking to him about where he's from, and he says, you're from Georgia, and he's like, nah, North Carolina. He's like, oh, same thing, whatever. But he kind of opens up to him. But then things start to take a little turn. He asks Henry, what's wrong? You're not gold bricking me, are you? Meaning just sitting there looking good, not doing anything. Henry's like, nah, honestly, sir, my dog died. And this also connects with Mr. Burks. Mr. Burks, he starts pretty much getting sad. Like, yeah, we had a bad dog. It died on us. His hip was bad. We had to take it on out back. But then he got back into it and was like, Henry, you can play hurt, but get back in the game. And he hands him a folder like, hey, get this done. Henry opens it up. He says, did I tell you to open that? Yeah, go ahead and close that. But get it done by lunch. Gets Henry up out of here. Henry walks down the hallway. He goes to the furthest bathroom he could find, takes his glasses off, puts the folder down, grabs a lot of napkins, and goes in one of the stalls, looks around. And he starts yelling, you got to get that out your system. Me personally, I would have went out to the car, smoked a cigarette, chilled for about 20, 30 minutes. Because, you know, me, I got to take an extended break in whatever I do. But he went in the bathroom because it's just all building up on him, bruh. Ruby's in class, and it's like a literature class. And the teacher asks, who wrote this book? And it turns out no one in the class knew. But, of course, Ruby did, because she's showing them how we do. She raises her hand and she gives the right answer. And then all of the white kids in there, they all start doing monkey noises, banging on their chests and stuff. And can you believe the teacher wrote her a note? She told her to come up front, and she writes a note to go to the office. And it says she was the one disturbing the class. I can only imagine how this was for blacks going to schools. Now, my dad was he went to a segregated school, and then he went to a non-segregated school once he hit high school. And it was bad, he said, but for a girl, and you know you can't really fight back or nothing, man, I bet that was the worst. The tension slip. Ruby Emery distracting the class. Really? Distracting the class for giving the right damn answer. Now, I had some racist teachers when I went to school, but damn, wasn't never like this. While Ruby's in the principal's office, some white girl sits next to her in all pink, and she looks at her and says, oh, you're such a gem, aren't you? Then she tells her, oh, you used to have such a pretty face for a colored girl. So for Ruby, it's like at least somebody's talking to her and being nice. But me personally, I would have looked at it like, nah, you one of them. I ain't buying into it. Don't even talk to me. I ain't got nothing to do with it. But when you're isolated like this, you need at least somebody you can connect to. And at least this lady talked to her. Well, this girl talked to her. So every time she sees her, she can at least smile and at least wave at somebody at school, and she's not alone. Lucky and Gracie go down to the little local hardware store, and la-dee-dee, la-dee-da. They go inside. Old man's in there. Gracie's like, yeah, we're going to help our dad fix a window while he's at work. He's like, well, you came to the best window shop ever. And Lucky tells Gracie, let's get our stuff and get on out of here, but no candy. Once again, Gracie walks off, and now Lucky's like, oh, shoot, where'd she go? Gracie? She walks to the back, and she comes up on these axes, and the music plays. Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide. I'm gonna find you. And now Lucky starts having a daydream. The shop owner ends up next to her and is like, you interested in these axes? If some bitch killed my dog, I'd get an axe and get real curious. And then she snaps out of it, and Gracie's there. So Lucky's about to go on a rampage. She got that gun, and she's trying to get an axe now. They better watch out on that block. Henry's PTSD is kicking in. He's leaving the bathroom. He about to go back to work because he got a deadline, which is lunchtime. He got to get this work done. As he's walking back, the hallway starts turning yellow and stuff, and this can only mean one thing. That PTSD is triggering, and that mustard gas is about to kick in. Now he's just starting to have visualizations. He's hallucinating. He's starting to see bodies that are overexposed to different kind of chemical warfare, because what these chemicals do, they attack your lungs first, and it's going to eat you from the inside. But these chemicals also burn your skin. Now, you can feel the skin more than you can within your chest, but believe me, the stuff attacking your lungs is 10 times worse than the skin. Now, I'm telling y'all, Clark, Betty's husband, he doesn't want any parts of this. Now, They're talking about Dale and Midge. They're about to leave because he got a promotion. And Betty's talking about, see, I told you they knew that our house value would go down if blacks started moving in here. And Clark's like, man, they're going to address that in the homeowners meeting. And Betty wants Clark to take the initiative to be the lead, be the spokesperson, and tell everybody this is what we need to do to get him out the block. But Clark is like, nah, man, I ain't really with this. But she convinced him, and he's like, all right, I'll do it. Clark is kind of weak. He got Betty running his life, but I don't know how when she just sits at the house and doesn't do anything all day. But Clark going Clark. And then she says, well, Midge, she's not really my friend. She's just someone I talk to. But he's telling her, I'll do everything you need me to do at the meeting, but you got to go apologize to your friend. Betty had other plans. She ain't go over there and apologize to Midge. What she did was took some sugar over there and threw it in the tank. This'll teach y'all for trying to leave the neighborhood without warning us. Henry had a long day at work. He was at that thing tripping out. So he gets home and he's asking the girls, how was their day? And Gracie's like, oh, we fixed the window today. But after we seen Miss Vera. Well, Mom didn't see her. She only felt her. And you remember this morning, Henry was like, stop letting her talk about that. It's going to make us seem crazy. Well, your mom's going to have to explain that to me a little bit later. And he looks across the table at her. I told you earlier. And she's looking across the table like, man, this is a little bit seriouser than you think. But he's like, man. Lucky walks over to Henry. And she says, you were right what you told those police officers. I haven't been myself lately. And then she puts a piece of pie in front of him. And we already know how Henry act when he see pie. He ain't trying to eat it. Oh, my goodness. She's trying to get back at him and show him like, hey, I seen some shit today. I felt something today. You don't understand what we going through at this house. You got Lucky over there like Henry eating this shaking hand, crying and stuff. Trying to keep it down. He starts crying, and then all of a sudden you look across the table and Lucky starts crying because she knows that she's hurting him. But she's like, man, this is serious here. You got to believe me because I believe in you. But he's eating the hell out that pie though. They both at the table crying, and out back you see where the dog Sergeant, where Sergeant is buried. I guess it's like fruit feeling coming about the thing. Oh my goodness, this show is getting weirder and weirder. There you go, episode 2. Man, this show is crazy, but it's a good one, and we getting history lessons. Let me know what y'all think below. Would y'all still be in that house? I know it's day 3, but I would have been gone. I'm sorry, I'm up out of there. After I seen Sergeant's head turned around, the full 360, now it was a 180, but after I seen that, hey, pack it up. We're going to go ahead and move over to watch. Y'all say we got family out there? Yeah, we out. But I'm Mo.J. Thanks for watching. That's episode 2. I'm going to have episode 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 coming for y'all. But I'm going to have them spaced out a little bit. I know you can binge watch them, but I don't want to just drop them all on the same day. Give some people some time to watch and comment on it. But I'm Mo.J. If you like the content on the channel, hit the subscribe button. Definitely give me a like. Hey, and stick tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for episode 3 of them.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.